Hey everyone, welcome back to Dimension X Digital, and it's been a long time since I made a video. I've missed you guys. But yeah, it has been a very long time since I made a video, and life happens, and I've started a new job. We got my kids. Life is busy, so not only that, but I guess I should just say right off the bat, I can only assume that it has to be the new COPA guidelines or whatever. But when I was doing action figure reviews, I mean, my videos weren't exactly breaking the internet. But I was getting, some of them are breaking 1,000 views, and at least getting a few hundred, and I'm happy with that. I'm not a greedy guy. Like I said, I do this for fun, and just to interact with the community a little bit. But after COPA went into effect, my last couple reviews, they weren't even breaking 30, 40, 50 views, and I just kind of said, well, never mind. What's the point? So I'm only assuming it has to be because I was doing action figure reviews, and action figures, as we all know, are only for children. So took some time off, and I really, honestly, haven't been buying figures because I've been doing this. And so I thought I'd kick off. Sorry about my hands there. I'm shooting in 16:9, by the way. I have listened to you guys. No more 4:3 aspect ratio. I'm doing my best to make this work because I know a lot of people, when I was making the videos earlier, were requesting widescreen. So here's my attempt at widescreen. Let's see how it goes. I've been really focusing on models and model kits and stuff like that. And this is the one I just finished. And this one is going to be my main entry into the International Plastic Model Society's anniversary meetup they're having in my town here later this month. And I found out about this about 2 months ago. Decided to do an RX-72. And so I've been working on this off and on, and in the last couple of weeks I've really done most of the work, and today I say I'm finished. I don't want to do any more. If I do any more, it's just going to be nuts. But anyways, I wanted to show it off to you guys and talk about it, and the methods that I use to do it, and just get back into the swing of making videos and stuff, because I really have missed it. So, I guess I should explain. This is the RX-72. This is the master grade. It's the version 2.0, which, when did that come out? I guess I should have looked that up before I started rolling the camera, right? Well, let's look at the let's get the instruction manual out, which I have right here. So let's see. Bandai 2008. Really? That can't be right. There's no way. There's no way it's from 2008. Oh, no, it is, because the Master Grade RX-72 version 1 year war was 2005. So yeah, this was all the way back in 2008. So this, not exactly the newest kit in the world. I mean, we have the 3.0, but I wanted the more classic one. I wanted the boxier proportions. I didn't want so many panels and stuff like that. I just wanted something classic. And and this one, I really wanted to go for a nice battle damaged look, a really worn look, and I think I achieved that. Some people accuse me of going a little heavy with my wear on my kits, and frankly, what can I say? I like a good beat up, weathered, rusty, shot up kit, or mobile suit. A lot of people go, oh, well, why would it be so rusty to be maintaining it? Use your imagination, dude. I don't care. I don't never understand that. Like, people are like, well, this is a space mobile suit, so there wouldn't be any dust on it and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, you guys think way too much about this. I just want to build a kit that looks cool and is is aesthetically and visually, like, pleasing to me, and is interesting to look at. And if you want a clean look, this was the one I did before. This is just the high grade, and you can see it is very different. This was the first kit I really practiced pre-shading on, which I think came out pretty good. I used the same technique on the master grade, but I'm proud of this kit. This is one of my first pre-shading jobs. It's a nice little kit. I mean, it's like a $12 or $14 high grade, but I mean, you compare the two. I mean, and there is no comparison. And especially when you look at the level of detail. I mean, like, not just detail in the kits, but as far as the paint job goes, like, why do I like to weather my kits so much? Well, take a look. I mean, which one would you rather look at? Which one is your eye drawn to more? I'm gonna say it's the one that's beat to shit. So, as much as I like this kit, this is definitely the one I prefer. So you can see he is heavily damaged, nice and rusty. He's definitely seen some things. You might ask, why is his gun so clean? Frankly, because I didn't like the way the rust looked on the gunmetal. My theory is that he picked up a fresh gun off the battlefield, and I'm sticking with that story. But I did try to do some nice, like, brushed, some like brushed metal. I tried to kind of vary the metal tones in him. So, like, on, like, his hands, and the inner frame is more like a brushed metal, but then on his arm, or on his hand, like the actual, like, a more solid armor, I kept it more like clean, and like it's more durable. Let's bring him closer so we can really get a good look. And let me focus. There we go. So you can see, if you, not too many people have viewed it yet. But I did, a lot of people in a Facebook group where I post and talked about Gundam and stuff, and models in general. A lot of people ask me how I do, like, my battle damage, and I just posted a tutorial on how to do it. Basically, the long and short of it is I use a wood burning pen with kind of a pointed but semi-blunt tip, and I kind of burn and shape in the bullet impact marks. Same thing with this one, except this one I think I use a blunter, more rounded edge for, like, more of like a what do you call it, like a particle beam, or like a plasma weapon or something like that. But like machine gun fire, light arms fire, I just try to do little things here and there. But yeah, I did post a tutorial on how to do that, so if you are curious, that is how it was done. Yeah, just did a lot of pre-shading, a lot of wear and tear on him. I tried to do the rust is all sponge chip. It's done, and then the light rust kind of accents are done with by hand. Like kind of the chip or the rubbed edges, that's just done by hand, black base, and then I used some Citadel paint, silver, like, over it. And I mean, that's kind of the gist of it. I mean, a lot of people, oh, how do you do your weathering? And it's pretty simple. I mean, it just takes a little bit of I don't know, I not so much planning, because you don't want it to look too planned, you want it to look natural. So kind of like, I just kind of follow the rule of kind of like, where's something that's going to get hit the most, like where impact's going to hit the most, like where's like a raised edge that's going to like get scuffed up, or like something like that. So you got to just kind of use your imagination a little bit, and try to make it look as natural as possible, and at least that's my advice for it. I do airbrush my kits. I have hand painted a few, and sometimes I hand paint just because it's a nice change of pace. It's a little faster, it's a little more you could almost call it more intimate, I guess, because you're actually feeling the contours of the kit, and so I do like the hand paint, but I do airbrush my kits, and I've been using the Iwata Revolution for the last few kits I've done. I really like this brush. I might try to get another nozzle that's like a little bit like finer point, but this one's been working great for me. Oh man, I mean, from what I was using, where is it? Here we go. Might as well dare to compare. I was using this Central Pneumatic one. You can find these at Harbor Freight for like, I don't know, I can't remember if they're like $15 or if they're $30. I don't know. But truth be told, I spent an entire year using this brush. It is a siphon fed versus a gravity fed, and I'm not gonna lie, once I learned to thin my paints properly and keep my brush clean and kind of this and that and the other, honestly, it wasn't the worst brush, and I'm glad I learned on a cheaper brush than, because this thing, what I said, is between 15 and $30. I can't remember. This thing is going to run you about $120. Now, they are night and day. However, using this guy with all of its finicky parts and, just overall problematic nature, actually really taught me to really learn how airbrushes work and how to clean them properly and how to maintain them. So, a lot of people will ask, oh, what kind of brush should I get? What kind of brush? And I'm like, if you're new to the hobby and you're not sure if you're going to be a hand painter, if you're going to be a airbrusher, and even if you get an airbrush, you're going to be doing both. I don't steer people away from getting the cheaper stuff, the $20 master airbrushes or whatever, because people have this misconception, oh, I'm going to buy an airbrush and it's going to turn me into a master painter. It's not. Your first attempt is probably going to be a goddamn disaster, just like mine was. But you learn, and it's best to learn on something that I think you're not going to regret. I mean, granted, there's going to be some resale value on something like this. Oh, well, I spent $120, I can probably get 80 for it. Okay, I didn't lose too much money. However, I keep this thing around just because, I threw my bottle and a new one, but I'd rather run primer through this than through that. So it's my backup now, but I spent an entire year using that guy, and I don't regret it at all. So if you're in the market for an airbrush, or if you're just starting to learn about airbrushing, by all means, get a cheaper brush. Get one of the master series brushes or something like that. Like, they are not expensive, and I've seen guys do amazing work with them. You don't have to go out and spend $120. Do it when you're ready. Do it when you know that this is your hobby and this is what you're going to be doing. So anyways, like I said, I appreciated everything on here. That's something I'm really trying to really get down. And a kit like the RX-78 is really kind of good for learning that, just because there's so much white, and the white and red really show you kind of how the pre-shading works. Like, if you look at the shield, you can see the kind of the black accents on, like, kind of the raised edges here, and that's because of the pre-shading. And I did do a wash on this, but I rubbed most of it off. I just wanted to get a little bit of grime on it. But yeah, pre-shading is going to really help you. Learning to layer your different tones of paint is going to help you. There's 3 different layers of blue on here. There's two different shades of red. The yellow is orange, dark yellow or medium yellow, and then a bright yellow on top. The white is two different shades of white. So once you learn to layer your colors, you can really start bringing your kits to life. And I'm going to tell you right now, pre-shading is a huge part of it. The inner frame I did completely paint. Of course, you can't see a damn thing, but that's the nature of of Gunpla and these kind of models. Is you can do as much detail as you want. You can see there's like a little bit of exposed frame here. If we open up his knees, then there you go, like his there's some pistons that are still visible right here. So you can put the effort in that you want to put in. It's just like when I painted the Bandai ATST, and there's this wonderful cockpit. It has all these little textures and dials and all sorts of stuff, and 2 pilots, and you put them in, and then you snap the top on, and you go, no one's ever going to see that again. But I know I painted it. I know I had fun with it. And I actually did modify it so I can take the top on and off after I did that, because I was like, I really do want to be able to look at that again, because I was really happy with how it turned out. But some people, they don't care, but it's about the process of making it, and that's what I've been enjoying about this hobby so much, and it's what's gotten me out of action figure collecting for the most part, because I am just really loving the hands-on nature of model building, and the whole process of putting that effort into making it look the way that I want it to look like. So I'm not just saying, oh, here's the new, NECA Hellraiser figure, because that's just popped in my head because it's a new figure, which is a great figure. I've seen it. It looks really good. The pins are a little, it's a hard scale. That's such a hard scale to get that kind of detail right, but it does look good. There's my review of the NECA Hellraiser, by the way. But yeah, you're not just buying a figure and saying, I found it. and then you put it on your shelf and you just never do anything with it again. With the models and especially the Gundams, and I've done like a little 130 scale Moshin and Krieger kit, which I loved. I really want to get into the 120s of those, but I just really love the effort of making it look how I want it to look. And so when it's done, it's like, I'm going to hang on to this because I put my kind of like own touch, my blood, sweat, and tears into it to make it look how I think like the perfect RX-78-2 like figure that I would want. And master grades, I mean, these are such a great scale. What is this, like a good 7.5, 8ish inches? It's a great scale. They display wonderfully. So yeah, let me pause this and I will show you every single shade of paint that I used on this guy in case you are curious. I'll be right back. All right, and we're back. So just for this, which is a kit that has essentially 1, 2, 3, like 3 or 4 colors, like tops. This is how many bottles of paint I needed, and thinners, and I'll walk you through a little bit. So I'm a big fan of the Mission Models primer. I have really started to like these. I've been using them pretty much since I started doing kits. I've never had an issue with them. They dry quick. They apply wonderfully. You do have to activate them with the Mission Model thinner, which I have no problem with, and which I'll explain why later. So Mission Model primer, I highly recommend it. I use the gray on this one. A lot of times I'll use black, especially if I'm doing like a spaceship, like when I did my Millennium Falcon, I used black. Saves you a lot of time on pre-shading, but it does kind of like limit your options on your further application, but that's another video for another time. So Mission Model primer for sure. The pre-shading was done with Tamiya flat black. I just thinned it out with can't remember if you can either use water or you can use the thinner. I like to use thinner just because it's going to give you a little bit more of leveling action. So I definitely recommend using a thinner. And I might as well just say, why do I like the Mission Model thinner? Because unlike the Mr. Color leveling thinner, it's not going to put you into a coma. Now it does have a little bit of a fumey kind of like chemicaliness to it, and so I mean, always wear your respirator, guys. But this stuff will this will fumigate your house. This is very harsh. This is very mild. You don't want to get this on your skin. This you couldn't care less. I mean, don't go bathing in it, but you don't really have to worry too much about it. So I do recommend this a lot. And I use this more for cleanup, or if I'm just to kind of paint, just if I hand brushing, I like this stuff because it does level out really nice. But the Mission Models is great. This is just better for cleanup if you need it. So pre-shading and any other black details, just good old Tamiya flat black, can't go wrong. And then as far as the whites, I used the Vallejo Mecha color. This is the white gray. That was my base, and then I did my highlights on top with just the Mission Models of flat white. So just 2 tones on the white there. You could go 3 if you really wanted to. I've never needed to. But so the Mecha white gray is pretty nice stuff. I want to get more of the Mecha colors. As far as the blues, I really like. I really like this combination of blues. I did this for that little high grade too. I start with you do your pre-shading, and then my next thin layer is going to be steel blue. It's your darkest one. Followed up by this French blue, which is this really nice lighter dark blue. This is a fantastic color. It's one of my favorites from the Vallejo Air. And then top it off with highlights with the light sea blue. So this gives you kind of that nice iridescent look on top. You just want to go real light on it though, because it can easily overpower these dark guys. But if you can really learn to control the airflow of your brush, these are really fantastic if you're doing any like an RX. Red, darker base is just going to be the Mission Models basic red, nothing fancy. And then you're going to do highlights with the model color. This is Vallejo as well, but this is your model color. This is their vermilion red. It's kind of a nice, like more of almost a fluorescent red, and it's it just really does a nice, it blends in really nice with this. And I'm pretty, I mean, red is one of those things, I mean, you can do 9 shades of red, and it's going to look great. For these kits, at least at this scale, for that amount of red, these two seem to work fine for me. I do have what is it, Mr. Hobby Clear Red. This, all I use this for is that little tiny clear dot on top of his head. The chrome or the copper accents were Dark Copper by Tamiya. Yellow is tricky. I could do an entire video on yellow. In fact, I probably will when I have a better setup. Now, the first time I tried yellow was a couple times. I started getting the hang of it when I did this one. However, if you look at this yellow, you can kind of see there's kind of a greenish hue to it that I'm not happy with at all on this kit. It's my one thing on this kit where I just go, ugh, why? But I'll tell you why. Because I did pre-shading, and the black that was under the yellow did not react well. It doesn't react well with yellow and black. You're going to get this weird green color. So, gray primer, do your black pre-shading, then do a very thin layer of just regular old orange. I use the Vallejo Model Air orange. You can use whatever orange you want. I don't care. This is what I have. Do a very nice little light layer of orange. Not so much to cover up your pre-shading, though. Just to kind of, you just need to dole it out. Then you're going to go in with your darker yellow. I've been using the Vallejo, the Model Air medium yellow. This is going to be kind of your bread and butter of it. Kind of get your base on there until it looks, you'll see. You'll want to lose the orange, but you don't want to cover up all your black pre-shading. And then you're going to get, just do your middle parts, your highlights, with just a good bright flat yellow. Just a regular yellow. Tamiya's yellow is very nice hue. This is what I use. So orange, dark yellow, or medium yellow in this case, and flat yellow. That's how I did the yellow on here, and I'm much happier with it. The rust, I've been finding, if you want your dark rust, I don't like any of the dark rust colors. I have like 4 jars of them, all different companies, and I hate them. They never look right. However, I don't know if it was an accident or what, but I got this whole red from Tamiya, and it makes the best freaking sponge chip, like old looking rust. You can see I used it here on this Grimoire Red Beret, and it really just has this nice natural rusty look to it. Let's get it back up so you can see. So that's the whole red right here. Like right here, like all these dark spots, that's whole red. And I'm telling you, you can't go wrong with it. You can't go wrong with this for your dark rust colors. Skip anything that says rust, dark rust. No. Find Tamiya whole red. This is what you want, in my opinion. Just a couple little light rust highlights with light rust. This one actually does work pretty well. It contrasts very nicely with this. Gives you kind of a natural look two-tone. Honestly, I mean, this is not the best rust job I've done. I mean, I've done some better looking rust. Like this one, I was very happy. This was the first kit I ever did rust on. And I mean, but this was a project. This is using chipping mediums, dry pigments, wet pigments, all sorts of crap. But I didn't want to overly rust him up, so I just went with 2 on here. So so whole red, I swear by it. What is it? All of the bullet impacts, all the scrapes, that's Citadel Runefang steel. This, oops, sorry, I'm out of focus here. There we go. This is a new one for me. I had never used this before. I'm really happy with it. Has just enough shine on it to where it doesn't look dull, but it doesn't look brand new. It catches light way better. I have another silver or another steel color. I think it is Tester's acrylic steel, and it's okay, but from certain angles you can't, it doesn't catch light at all, and it really is a kind of a pain to work with. So this is going to be my go-to steel from now on. I really like this. Good old gunmetal, Tamiya gunmetal. That's what the gun, the hard armor on his hands is, and it was what his backpack was, but I ended up doing a brush steel on that just for contrast. And then of course good old Citadel Nuln oil for a wash. I have used other washes before, and I really, really, really like, let me find it. I really, really like this, the Testors Crate FX acrylic wash. This stuff is great. This is a really, really nice black wash. I swear by this stuff. However, if you want something a little thinner, a little subtler, I would go with the Knoll Oil, especially if you're doing like more mecha stuff. This is really better for like organic stuff or like more of a like a muddy look. But if you want something that kind of looks like greasy, then use the Knoll Oil. But if you are looking for a black wash, find the Testors Crate FX acrylic black wash. This stuff is awesome. So that about does it, guys. This video is 25 minutes long. I will be shocked if anyone makes it through there. But like I said, I've been missing making my videos. You know, I've been missing sitting here communicating with you guys, and I am really proud of this kit. You know, so I'm really hoping that I kind of bring a little competition to this competition. But I don't know. This has been a very fun process of making this kit. I had a really good time doing it, and I'm really proud of it. I'm really really happy with how it came out, and I think the next, well, I have a master grade, the master grade Psycho Zaku, which will probably be my next big project. But I think I'm going to take a minute before I tackle that guy, especially because I'm still on the fence of what I'm going to do as far as the color goes. I don't know if I'm going with the traditional colors or if I'm going to go kind of like Hog Wild and kind of go off off model. So anyways, thanks for letting me ramble on, guys, for almost half an hour. I'm really going to start trying to make videos more consistently. You know, I don't think I'm going to do any more figure reviews unless I just have to. Like I said, I'm kind of falling out of that hobby and getting more into this. It's just more stimulating for me creatively. However, you know, I mean, there's always the off chance that some figure's going to come out that I just have to have. You know, and maybe we'll still do some Free It Friday. I really did like that, doing those videos. That was one of my favorite things doing on the channel. So maybe I'll keep doing that. But yeah. So Master Grade RX-78-2 version 2.0, battle damage, rusted, wear and tear, whatever you want to call it. There you go. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and stick around for more, definitely more model centric stuff, and you know, a whole lot more stuff in the future. So anyways, thanks again, guys. Take care.